Good morning. It's day 133 of Read the Bible in a Year, and we're reading 2 Chronicles chapters 21 and 22. Page 896 in the scriptures, or roundabout, if you want to follow along and you're reading the ISR version. Otherwise, 2 Chronicles 21 and 22. Yep, let's get on it. There it is. Chapter 21. And Jehoshaphat slept with his fathers, and he was buried with his fathers in the city of David. And Jeroboam his son reigned in his place. And he had brothers and sons of Jehoshaphat, Azariahu, Yehiel, and Zechariahu, and Azariahu, and Michael, and Shephatiahu. All these were the sons of Jehoshaphat, sovereign of Israel. And their father gave them many gifts of silver and gold and precious items with walled cities in Judah. But he had given the reign to Jeroboam because he was the firstborn. And when Jeroboam had risen up over the reign of his father and strengthened himself, he killed all his brothers with the sword, and also others of the heads of Israel. Jeroboam was 32 years old when he began to reign, and he reigned 8 years in Jerusalem. And he walked in the way of the sovereigns of Israel as the house of Ahab had done, for he had the daughter of Ahab as a wife, and he did evil in the eyes of Yahweh. However, Yahweh would not destroy the house of David because of the covenant he had made with David, and since he had promised to give a lamp to him and to his sons all the days. In his days the Edomites revolted from under the hand of Judah and appointed a sovereign under themselves. Then Jehoram, went out with his officers and all his chariots with him, and it came to be that he rose by night and struck the Edomites who had surrounded him and the commanders of the chariots. Thus the Edomites revolted from under the hand of Judah to this day. Then Libnah revolted from under his hand because he had forsaken Yahweh, Elohim of his fathers. He had also made high places in the mountains of Judah, and he caused the inhabitants of Jerusalem to commit whoring and led Judah astray. And a letter came to him from Eliyahu, the prophet, saying, Thus said Elohim of your father David, because you have not walked in the ways of Jehoshaphat your father, or in the ways of Asa, sovereign of Judah, but have walked in the way of the sovereigns of Israel, and have made Judah the inhabitants of Jerusalem to commit whoring, like the whoring of the house of Ahab, and also have killed your brothers, those of your father's household who were better than yourself. See, Yahweh is going to strike with a great blow among your people, your children, your wives, and all your possessions, and you, with many sicknesses, with disease of your intestines, until your intestines come out, because the sickness, day by day, until your intestines come out. Whew. And Yahweh stirred up the spirit of the Philistines against Jeroboam, and of the Arabians who were near the Cushites. And they came up into Judah and broke into it and captured all the possessions that were found in the sovereign's house, and also his sons and his wives, so that there was not a son left to him except Jehoahaz, the youngest of his sons. And after all this, Yahweh plagued him in his intestines with a disease for which there was no healing. And it came to be in the course of time, at the end of 2 years, that his intestines came out because of his sickness, and he died in great pain. And his people made no burning for him like the burning for his fathers. He was 32 years old when he began to reign. He reigned 8 years in Jerusalem, to no one's regret, and passed away. And they buried him in the city of David, but not in the burial sites of sovereigns. They hated that guy. Chapter 22. And the inhabitants of Jerusalem set up Ahazyahu, his youngest son, to reign in his place, for the raiding band that came with the Arabians into the camp had killed the older sons. So Ahazyahu, son of Jehoram, goodness gracious, sovereign of Judah, reigned. Ahazyahu was 42 years old when he began to reign, and he reigned in Jerusalem 1 year. He was 42 years old when he began to reign. But wasn't Jehoram, what did it say? Jehoram was 32 years old when he began to reign, and he reigned 8 years, so he was 40. So Jehoram passed when he was 40 years old. I'm sorry, guys. I'm trying to work this out because it said Ahazyahu, his youngest son, to reign in his place, for the raiding band came with the Arabians into the camp and killed all the older sons. So Ahazyahu, son of Jehoram, sovereign of Judah, reigned. Ahazyahu was 42 years old when he began to reign. So basically, there was a time span. There was a span of, I don't know, 20, 30 years where they didn't have a king, where Judah did not have a king. Ahazyahu was 42 years old when he began to reign, and he reigned in Jerusalem 1 year, and his mother's name was Athaliahu, the granddaughter of Omri. He too walked in the ways of the house of Ahab, for his mother counseled him to do wrong. And he did evil in the eyes of Yahweh, like the house of Ahab, for they were counselors after the death of his father to his destruction. He also walked in their counsel, and went with Joram, son of Ahab, sovereign of Israel, to fight against Hazael, sovereign of Aram, at Ramoth-Gilead, and the Arameans struck Joram. And he returned to Israel to recover from the strikings with which they had struck him at Ramah, when he fought against Hazael, sovereign of Aram. And Azaryahu, son of Jehoram, sovereign of Judah, went down to see Jehoram, son of Ahab, in Israel, for he was sick. Okay, so 2 different Jehorams here. But from Elohim came the downfall of Ahazyahu through his coming to Joram. I'm sorry. For when he came, he went out with Jehoram against Jehu, son of Nimshi, whom Yahweh had anointed to cut off the house of Ahab. And it came to be, when Jehu was executing judgment on the house of Ahab, that he found the rulers of Judah and the sons of Ahaziah's brothers, who served Ahaziah, and killed them. So he searched for Ahaziah, and they caught him while he was hiding in Shomeron, and brought him to Jehu, and put him to death, then buried him. For they said, He is the son of Jehoshaphat, who sought Yahweh with all of his heart. And there was none in the house of Ahaziah strong enough to reign. And when Athaliah, the mother of Ahaziah, saw that her son was dead, she rose up and destroyed all the offspring of the reign of the house of Judah. Wow. She saw that her son was dead, and she rose up and destroyed all the offspring of the reign of the house of Judah. But Jehoshabath, the daughter of the sovereign, took Joash, son of Ahaziah, and stole him away from among the sovereign's sons who were slain, and put him and his nurse in a bedroom. So Jehoshabath, the daughter of the sovereign Jehoram, the wife of Jehoiada the priest, because she was the sister of Ahaziah, hid him from Athaliah, so that she could not put him to death. And he was hidden with them in the house of Elohim for 6 years, while Athaliah was reigning over the land. Evil woman reigning over the land. That's how chapter 22 ends. But it sounds like we have a righteous woman who was the sister of the king who was put to death, who was it? I guess this guy was an infant. Yeah, because she hid away not just him, not just the child, but his nurse. So that's interesting. And he was hidden with them in the house of Elohim. The house of Elohim for 6 years. So praise God. See the hand of the Father working. And he uses a woman who is the wife of a priest to hide away a child, to be utilized as the reign. But he is being hidden in the house of Elohim. What a foundation. Well, that's it. Tomorrow's chapter 23 and 24. Shalom.